Hello and welcome to the Ripping Pages podcast. This is the podcast where we have a coffee with the world's most interesting writers to inspire your reading and your writing. And it's all crafted and curated by me, Liam Bishop. We're here today with some bonus content from my interview with Joanna Pocock. And we're talking about objects of influence. And you're going to hear about the importance of Joanna's notebook and her phone, and how her notebook and her phone is her writing studio. Joanna Pocock is an Irish-Canadian writer living in London, and her writing has appeared in the Los Angeles Times, The Nation, Guardian US, and many others. And of course, her first book, Surrender, won the 2018 Fitzcarraldo Editions Essay Prize. She was also awarded an Arts Foundation Environmental Writing Fellowship. Greyhound is her second book, and it's named after the iconic bus company whose intercity network carries passengers from Detroit to Los Angeles, which Joanna relies on for her own journey in Greyhound as she revisits familiar motels, crossings and bus stations she encountered on a journey she did years before. Don't forget to like, share, follow, leave a review. Tell me what you like about the show. Tell me what you want to see more of, or just tell your friends about the show as well, whether this is your first episode or your 50th. Delighted to have you here. Okay, let's get into it. This is Joanna Pocock on Objects of Influence. We spoke about the books that you referenced, characters even that have influenced you, other writers, and the influence of all these people that you meet doing their own journeys in whatever form. I wondered if we could just talk about objects of influence and an object that you associate with writing Greyhound.
I mean, I have objects that I value, things my daughter's made or books my husband's given me and that kind of thing. But really the object that for me has the most value to me is my journals. And but I'm not picky. I just go into my local post office and I just buy whatever's the cheapest one. So my journals, I have boxes and boxes, and they've moved with me. I have moved a lot in my life. And going back to when I was 8 years old, my very first journal, I have that still. And I don't keep them every day, and there are huge chunks of time that I don't document. But when I'm doing a research trip, my journals are just like the most important thing to me. And also photographs, because I do photograph a lot. And I used to use a, film camera, but now I just do it on my phone. And my photographs are really, really important to me. And I publish them with my writing. So my photographs are a really important aspect in my writing. So the combination of journals and photographs are my most prized possessions, and linked to my writing and linked to my practice. And I keep thinking I probably should get into recording people. Like my next project, I did a research trip and I was interviewing people for it, and I was writing down what they were saying. And I thought, why am I doing it like this? So I don't know. It's making me maybe question as well my practice a little bit.
Well, I love either way. You're trying to find a way of documenting, I guess. But I love the fact that it doesn't matter what notebook. I had Kimberly Campanella, and it was important for her that she had a specific notebook from a specific shop.
Oh, wow.
Yours is like, I just need a cheap. Well, I don't want
Yeah.
to say cheap, but
Yeah, no cheap. No cheap. Cheap is good. They have to be
I don't know
cheap.
what it is. I mean, I am a notebook user, but I just, if you tell someone you're a writer, that means you are literally getting a notebook for every birthday, Christmas, as if so, as if for all. Anyway, it's a very sweet
I
gift.
wish
But
I did, because then I'd
I
get
have some
really
of
new
mine. I'll send you
ones.
some. Got bloody
I
loads of
mean,
them.
mine are just rubbishy, but I do quite like spiral bound ones, because then you can make them
Yeah.
small. Like, I think there's something precious about nice notebooks. And the thing is, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter, does it? What matters is what's the content of the notebook.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends, doesn't it? But
Yeah, it depends.
it does depend, no? But I think but for you, and that sounds very appropriate for what you're doing.
Yeah, maybe.
Being out there on the road, and I can imagine it, like I can just see it, and it's a love. I mean, it's just an image I have in my head of. I don't want to say, I don't want to offend the notebook, but I can imagine it's a little bit dog-eared and a little bit
Yeah,
crumpled
oh
and
yeah. Oh yeah, very.
hastily
Yeah.
written in. But the photographs as well. I love the photographs, and your book is full of photographs.
Yeah.
that you've taken,
Yeah.
and it just adds another dimension to this book. And it's these brilliant, just Americana images of the motel signs, the lights, and you provided with the black and white in the copy I have, but you provided me with a picture, and I don't know if we can use them on. If you'd be interested to let me use them in some form or not. But either way, you sent me a picture of the original photographs, and I think one of them says 2006 Vegas, and then one says Napanee 2006 maybe,
Hmm.
and it's the color,
Yeah.
and it's these bright lights of these motel signs, and it just brings you back to that image of
Mm.
the American road,
Mm.
the motels, and which is just not something that we have over here or in Europe or anywhere else really. And it's
No.
so I could look at those images all day.
Yeah, me too.
They tell stories, don't they?
I do.
But photography is so important, isn't it? Well, it seems
Mm.
important to you.
It
No
is really.
film cameras anymore. There's no film photography anymore. Then
No, although I was thinking of getting back into it, but there's something
it's
just kind of
impractical, isn't
very
it?
immediate about using a phone to take photos. It's just you know, as you've probably realized throughout this our chat, is I like to do things on the cheap. You know, if I've got like my notebook and my phone, that's all I need. That's my studio. That's all I need. And it costs, 99p in a, in a post office for my notebook. And my phone I need for other things, so it doesn't cost me anything. No film, no processing. I'm a happy bunny. Yeah.
Well, I like that, but I think it should be
Yeah.
writing should be cheap. It should be
Yeah.
something that we can all do in some form, and
Absolutely.
not everyone will be able to take a photograph. But I think writing is something that we should all be able to do and take inspiration from the world uh,
Totally.
around us. Interestingly, I used to take some film photographs, and I just found, and this is just making me think how the unconscious works. But picked up this really old. I picked out this. I went through a phase of just trying to get loads of cheap cameras from eBay, film cameras, and this was a very cheap point and click one that I found that I had downstairs. Is a Prince GT7 Flashmatic, so it's only a point and shoot one.
Oh, wow.
So you can't
It looks
change
like
the
it's from the
aperture.
80s. Is it 80s or
I
90s?
think it is, yeah. I think it's 80s. So it did start to go more electronic in the 90s.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can't change the app. So I've got a couple downstairs that I've inherited from my grandfather. But this is you can't change the aperture or anything. But I don't know if you can see the way you change it. So it's got like little symbols there,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and that's if you're doing a close up or portrait, and then that's for a group photograph. And then if you change it
Brilliant.
along, it's like a larger group, and there's the mountain. So if you wanted to take a landscape photograph, that's how you change the aperture in there.
It's
So
from
it's
the
got
days
some
when you
film in
were
it, so I need to go.
photographing either weddings or your holidays,
Or a
right?
mountain, yeah. Mountains
That's
or
it.
weddings. So not if you want a Prince GT7 Flashmatic, that's
Right.
your limit. But, but yeah, it
That's
did
fun.
make me think about things. But it just adds another dimension to this book, and
Yeah.
um, I think you should. I don't know. Could you do like an exhibition or something with them, or
I would love to.
that'd be ace, wouldn't it?
I would absolutely love to. And I've had work photography published, and I've sold some. And my thing is my father was a photographer.
Oh right, okay.
And my brother is a photographer, and my sister Mary, my sister who died, was also a photographer.
Oh wow,
I grew up, and she married a photographer, and when she died, he remarried a photographer.
goodness
It's like
me.
I have been my entire life surrounded by photographers. And so I never considered myself a photographer because I never really did it seriously. Um, but it's becoming more and more important to me, weirdly, as I get older, and I just love it. And because in a way it's so similar to writing in some ways, in that you're constantly editing. A photograph is an act of editing, really. It's all the stuff you leave out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And writing, it relies so much on editing. And like you were saying, like I talk about, the price of things and so on. I don't have to, but that's in there. And but what am I leaving out? But when you bring in details, it also brings up the idea of all the things I'm not bringing in. And so it's like it's a very sort of elegant form of editing a photograph to
Oh,
me.
interesting.
So that's how I think of it.
Well, that's so interesting. Well, I didn't. My Prince little crap Prince Matic won't be on the level of kit and skill that the people he's surrounded by. But it is interesting and it is an experience, and it's very immediate as well as a
Yeah.
photograph.
Yeah.
which isn't, is it for writing? Yeah, it takes a bit longer, doesn't it, to get that kind of final.
I mean, the other thing that is really, this is where digital, because I'm kind of an analog person, but one thing I found really useful was when I import my digital photos into my iPhoto, um, it gives me a location,
Yeah,
which obviously when you're
yeah,
writing
yeah,
a
yeah.
trip
It's useful.
is so important, you know. But then of course I store all my images on drives and then you lose that information the minute you take them off. So I try and make a note of it. But I'm not the most organized person, but yeah, anyway. So it's quite, you know, photography can be really, really handy as well, just
Mhm.
in terms of knowing where you were.
Well, we've learned a couple of things there. Photographs and notebooks are really useful, ways if
Really
you're
useful.
gonna be a
Yeah.
writer, you might need we need to write, but you maybe photographs can be
Hmm.
useful as well.
Absolutely.
The photograph. I didn't realize you were so many photographers in your
Yeah.
family. What were they?
Oh,
What's
what?
they? What was your dad doing? What was he?
So my dad was an aeronautical engineer,
Oh, wow.
but photography was his love, and because he had seven children, he couldn't really just be a photographer, so he had to work, you know. So he worked as an aeronautical engineer, but he in 1967, the Montreal World's Fair had a huge photography exhibit called Man and His World, which my dad designed and brought all the photo, like did the whole thing single-handed
Wow.
and invited like all the great photographers from the 60s
Yeah, yeah.
to exhibit. And so as a result, like, you know, he became really good friends with, you know, Duano and Elliot Erwitt and Gene Smith, and he, you know, had correspondence with Cartier-Bresson, and he just yeah, we just grew up with the work of these people in our house and hearing stories about them. And so to me, photography was just like a normal part of life growing up.
Wow. That sounds amazing.
It was incredible. And actually, I wrote an essay about discovering W. Eugene Smith's work. It's on Eon. You know, I was a very slow reader because I was dyslexic. So
Okay.
I sort of, my first reading was reading photographs. Like that's how
Wow.
I kind of, yeah.
It
So,
gives it gives you a different way of looking at it. Like it's important, isn't it? I think the way
yeah.
but that's so interesting. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love